The WWE Draft of 2023 is fast approaching on Monday, May 8th. While there are dozens of male and female superstars drafted, it is only the top 5 or 10 picks on each brand that actually matters. With generally very short women's matches in the WWE, the women's division does not seem to be a top priority. Which basically means, if you are not the Raw, SmackDown, or Women's Tag Team Champions, then you are essentially irrelevant and invisible in the women's division. On the men's side there are a few more titles, and some focus on factions, which allows other wrestlers to have some airtime, even if they do not hold a championship. Thus, the top draft picks will shape the direction of each brand over the next year. Braun Breaker is likely to be called up from NXT, and either end up on Raw or SmackDown. Particularly, since he has turned heel, it seems his time on NXT is up. As the unified champion, Roman Reigns will most likely remain on SmackDown. The bigger question is, will the Usos remain on SmackDown since a potential babyface change is coming? The draft could definitely end the bloodline if the members are drafted to different brands. As the SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley will most definitely be drafted to SmackDown. With the Judgment Day currently on Raw, the current members will probably remain on Raw, or be drafted to different brands, which will effectively end that faction. As the current Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair will likely remain on Raw. It wouldn't be surprising if Charlotte Flair is undrafted and remains a free agent until she ultimately returns. One of the biggest questions of the draft is, will Austin Theory remain on Raw, and will Gunther stay on SmackDown? The United States and Intercontinental Champions cannot both be on the same brand. Thus, if one champion gets drafted to one brand, then the other has to get drafted to the other. It is unlikely that Brock Lesnar will get drafted. With the uncertainty of Drew McIntyre's future, how high and where he gets drafted is a big question. He has definitely been a complete flop since being on SmackDown. What is clear is whichever men get drafted to the same brand as Roman Reigns are definitely getting the short end of the stick. At 45, particularly after WrestleMania, Sheamus seems to have fallen into a mid-card status, with his role being the head of the Brawling Brutes. Sometimes wrestlers can be drafted to a brand, like Gable Stevenson, who was drafted to Raw 2021, but it ends up being utterly meaningless. Rumor has it that Seth Rollins is extremely unhappy with his current WWE status, particularly following his segment being bumped from WrestleMania. Damage Control could end up heading to SmackDown, with current Women's Tag Team Champions, Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan going to Raw. However, how long Bayley will continue to accept a backseat role remains to be seen. Thus, it definitely seems, particularly since the recent sale of the WWE, that there will be a major shakeup between the two brands. Whether that ultimately improves or creates new compelling storylines will be something one will have to wait to see unfold.